Create a drawing from an assembly. In this video, we'll demonstrate how to create a parts list, modify component properties, and modify a title block. In Fusion 360, we want to carry on with our simple box assembly. At this point, we're going to right-click on Base and unisolate to bring back the visibility of all the assembly components and make a quick save. From here, we're going to create a new detailed drawing. And this new detailed drawing is going to be of the assembly. We're going to go to our drawing from design, selecting full assembly, and we'll create a new drawing from scratch. It's important to note that if we have another drawing open, we can add it to the existing drawing sheet or a new sheet on the existing drawing. But for this purpose, we're going to say OK to create a new drawing. I'm going to change the orientation to a home view, and the scale will be 1:1, and the tangent edges will be full length, and we'll place it in the upper left-hand quadrant. We'll say OK to create our drawing view, noting that in the browser, we have all of our components listed. The eye icon changes the visibility of the component, but if we actually want to remove it from the drawing parts list, we need to use the checkbox to toggle its suppression. For our purposes, we're going to select the drawing view, go to Tables, and select Parts List. I'm going to anchor it in the upper right-hand corner, and noting that the balloons are automatically created. If we select the drawing view and move it, the balloons will move with it. If we have any difficulty seeing what the balloons are pointing to, we can select and reposition them. For example, balloon number 2 is pointing to the lid, and balloon number 1 is pointing to the base. But since it's pointing to the seam between them, pointing it lower on the base is probably easier for us to identify. Since 2 looks like it's pointing at a screw, we can reposition it so that it's pointing at the top or the lid, and it's a little bit more clear. And for number 3, let's go ahead and move it to a specific bolt, and then move its position so it's a little bit more clear that we're pointing at the hardware. Once we have those repositioned, let's take a look at the parts list. Noting that the base, the lid, and the number, which is a McMaster card number, are displayed in part number, description is empty and material is steel. Before we make any changes, let's do a quick save of the detailed drawing, noting that it's going to try to carry on simple box assembly drawing the same name as the last drawing we created, so I'm going to add a 2 after it, but still use that default name. I'm going to go back to the assembly, and I'm going to take a look at the 91255A535 component. I'm going to right-click and go to its properties. Inside of the component properties, notice there's a description category that's empty, but we have part name and part number. In the description category, I'll click twice, and I'm going to say button head cap screw, or BHCS. Once we're done, we can select Enter to OK the text and select Close, and then let's make one more save. We go back to our detailed drawing. Nothing has changed, but Fusion is telling us that we have a warning. Changes have been made in the reference drawing, so let's go ahead and click the reference icon to update it. Noting now that the description is BHCS and the part number has stayed the same. If we want to make any adjustments to what's seen in the table, we can double click on the table and we can determine whether or not we want to show the part name instead of the number, for example, or if we want to show all 3. From here, we also might want to make adjustments to the title block. Once again, we can double click on the title block to access the attributes of things that we might want to change. We've already seen how we can add a drawing number, but if we want to make more adjustments to the title block, we need to do this by creating our own. By selecting the title block and right-clicking, we have the option to create a new title block or edit the existing. If we create a new title block, we can do this based on the existing title block, so we'll say OK. From here, we can use tools such as Trim to trim certain elements of the title block. For example, if you weren't going to include a company logo. We're going to right-click and say OK to accept the trims, and then I'll finish the title block. Noting now that the title block has removed those lines, allowing us to make those adjustments. Creating a custom title block can be easy, and once you do, it's important that you save that information in a drawing template. Once you've added your custom title block, you can go to File and you can create a drawing template from the design. If we go to Save As, noting that we can create a drawing or a drawing template. We're not going to be exploring creating drawing templates, but it's important to note that the title block can be used over and over again in the existing drawing, but if you want to use it universally, you'll have to include it in a drawing template. From here, let's make sure that we do save this detailed drawing before moving on.